Coogs house. It's the end of Big 12 media days. Houston's defense was the story of last season. And if you ask them about it, they're here to tell you that it's going to be the center story of this season as well.
You are Locked On Cougs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Coogs, the daily podcast about your Houston Cougars. I'm your host, Houston-born teacher and coach Parker Answorth, fresh off of Big 12 media days. Whether you're a Houston fan or it's a hater coming to stop by, thank you for making us your first or second or third listen of the day. We appreciate my first listen each and every day here at Locked On Coogs. It's the everydayer that you are. This show is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, but the Houston Cougars were center stage in Frisco, Texas for Big 12 media days, and the defense was a key talking point as last year Houston kept themselves in many games and won the games that they did because of how strong that defense was. But you only return a few starters off of that defense, and there are a lot of question marks about can you replicate some of that success. Now, I have confidence in the defense because of the talent that's over there. I think there's a lot of reasons to be confident in Austin Armstrong, the defensive coordinator, but it's always important to hear from the guys themselves. We got to talk to Latrell McCutchin, defensive cornerback, repeat a guy at Big 12 Media Days after coming there last year. We also got to talk to big fella Carlos Allen. Both these guys have transferred in. Latrell McCutchin came from USC, was at Oklahoma before that. Carlos came from Kennesaw State. Both of these guys have really unique vantage points on what makes this defense so talented. And frankly, really enjoyed talking to both of them as well. I thought all four Houston Cougar representatives and Willie Fritz, as well as the fifth, did a very, very strong job of representing the Cougs at media days. Really liked the energy they brought and the professionalism with it handled things. I don't think there's another team that was 4-8 for 2 years in a row in America with as much confidence or as much reason to be confident as this group of guys. And I think they're on to something with it. I'm done talking, though. Let's go talk to them and hear from themselves. We'll start with Latrell first, then bring in Carlos afterwards.
Parker into the Locked On Coogs here with Latrell McCutchin. Latrell, second media day for you. That's a big deal. Before we get into some of the stuff, second time around, is it easier this time? How does it feel?
I mean, when it comes to talking to the media, I don't feel like it's ever easy, but it's definitely a lot of fun today for sure.
A lot of fun. Okay. I always have like silly food things to kind of break the ice a little bit, but I'll let you pick barbecue, Tex-Mex, or Cajun.
Ooh, barbecue.
So are you more of a beef guy or a pork guy?
I'm more of a pork guy, but I do like beef as well.
Yeah. Can you ever have too much sauce on your pulled pork?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Latrell, you're leading the secondary this year, and you're like a leader, right? You had said that a couple years ago, but you've also really seen how this program's changed. Does that work into your leadership because you can speak to all of that and you saw what it was like before and you're looking to move the program forward, or is it a new team, new deal?
I mean, when it comes to the culture that we had and the culture that we have now, it's two different wavelengths for sure. So I feel like just having that experience with Coach Fritz and his staff and being a leader and building that trust with them is something that has really helped me to get through to my teammates when it is that time for me to come up and step in and actually lead.
And in that secondary, I don't mean to talk about the past, but y'all were one of the best in the country last year. And you go through spring, you lose a couple buddies, and I don't really want to talk about them so much as how did you and your teammates adjust to losing some, I mean, let's be honest, good football player. You got good guys left, but you lost a couple good ones too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you lose guys like the guys that we lost, I mean, you can look at it from the outside in and tell that we definitely maybe lost some in a sense, but in that same token, we definitely gained some as well because we have guys that can fill those voids. So I feel like just being able to be a unit and building that chemistry day in and day out in camp and pushing through adversity is going to be something that's really going to help us prevail and ultimately get back to where we were last year or better.
So as a secondary, obviously a big part of the defense and the defense success last year, you go from Wood to Coach Armstrong. leader. You're teaching the young guys. What's been the biggest change you've noticed between those defenses?
I mean, schematically, there's differences for sure, and the way that they preach is different, and the way that they approach the game is slightly different as well, just because of the fact that they're different people. But I feel like regardless, they both preach tackling, they both preach running to the ball, and they both preach playing hard. So when you come play college football at any university, you're going to have to do all three of those things regardless. So the scheme isn't so much the problem. It's just being able to lock in, I guess.
I'm going to ask them about little bro. As an older sibling myself, right, I know it's like got to be a dream come true to get to play with your brother. But you're both, I mean, you had a pretty stellar year last year yourself, but it looks like you both going to have pretty big years this year. What's that like for the family, for y'all's dynamic, and what can you tell us about Trev?
Man, I mean, Trey is really one of them guys. When you talk about a guy that's going to come to work every day and be the same guy no matter what, I mean, you talk about him. Nothing or no one can change him, and I feel like his energy and his enthusiasm towards the game is unmatched. So just having a guy like that on the team, whether he's my brother or not, I would still love him like he was my brother, even if he wasn't. Luckily, he is, but even if he wasn't, I would still love him like I do, man, because he's one of those guys for sure.
All right, so now some rapid-fire, fun kind of questions about your teammates. Now, Boogie has a fancy watch on today, so it might be him, but who's the best-dressed guy on the team?
Me.
You. Yeah. Boogie said him. You say you?
I still say me.
Who's the most likely to be playing video games at 1 a.m. online?
Oh, my brother, for sure. He does not sleep, and he's not even good.
You can pass the sticks. Pass the sticks. Who's the most likely? So, win the Big 12 championship. They drop confetti in Jerry World. Who's doing Snow Angels?
Oh, I'm definitely doing the confetti angels 1,000%. But I think Coach Fritz will roll around in there and get it in too. No cap.
Gotcha. Who's the most likely to get Coach Fritz to make really laugh?
The most likely to make Coach Fritz laugh would probably be Coach Meyer or my brother again, because I feel like my brother can make anybody laugh just because he's so goofy and energetic.
Gotcha. All right. A little on the halfway serious side, who is going to be a breakout guy this season that of your teammates that no one's talking about?
Man, where does the list start? You know, I mean, you want me to name everybody on the team or? Nah, I mean, I just feel like guys like Jordan Allen, guys like Richmond, they're definitely going to have good years. Richmond's a young guy that nobody's talking about, and they will be talking about him for sure because he gets to that ball.
Let's talk, because y'all had several guys that were very successful at, I don't want to say this, but like smaller programs that I put on the video on YouTube. You play with them. We know they're good, and they're not getting talked about. And we come out here and want to talk about other transfer, other place or whatever. What's it been like watching those guys come in, because they were kind of relative unknowns that can ball some?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you talk about guys like BT, guys like Mark Stampley, guys like Jordan Allen. These are guys that played at other programs and played well. Like, they didn't have to leave the programs that they were at. They chose to. So to have guys like that to want to come to Houston and want to come play with us, I think, like, it's definitely a blessing. It definitely is great additions to our team to have those experienced guys who have made plays in the past.
Well, and you've made a lot of plays yourself in the past. It's not an individual game by any stretch, so I don't mean this in a way that sheds that or whatever, but is there anything you're looking to accomplish yourself this year outside of obviously winning the Big 12 and going forward with that?
I mean, personal accolades, I definitely want to win that Jim Thorpe Award. I'm shooting for it, and I'm definitely coming to get it. But I just feel like I want to get better as a team, man. Everything individually that you want is going to come after you get those team accolades for sure. So when you look at guys like, I mean, teams that win national championships and things like that, those are the guys that get drafted. Those are the guys that have the most draft picks typically. So I feel like just being able to hone in on being a leader and being the best for my teammates every day is something that's going to help my individual success.
All fair. Very, very good to hear. All right. Last question. Who's most likely on the team to make you really laugh? I'm assuming you're going to say Trey again, but who's going to make you laugh the most?
To make me laugh, probably JD Rim. Yeah. Me and JD pretty close, man. He kills me for sure.
JD Rim, the other corner. So we'll be talking about him, I'm sure, throughout the season. Thank you, Latrell, for coming on. Good luck the rest of the media day. Second time through, but it's still pretty exhausting. So thank you. And I heard you had a crazy flight in this morning. You're okay?
It was crazy. It wasn't really anything on the flight for us. It was just something going on with the landing. I think it was a plane in front of us, but we're all good. We're safe.
We're all good and safe. And y'all are leaving back out tonight. You're going to stop for barbecue anywhere here? I guess you got barbecue at home, too. So take care, Latrell.
Of
course, man.
But before we get too far, summer sports are in full swing. Pun only kind of intended. Look, swinging tennis rackets, baseball bats, swing your leg in soccer. Everything is happening this summer, and it's all happening over at FanDuel, America's number one sports book, where you can get in on the action. Look, you're already following all of that action anyway. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get into the game where your buddies are out there getting sunburned or toasted somewhere else. You can make sure that you're cooking something up at home. Now, I like placing same game parlays, kind of stacking on my wins for better earnings across the board here. But I will say I like the in game, live game, catch it after it started action as well. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if your first bet hit with FanDuel app today. Or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Locked on Cougs here with Carlos Allen representing the big fellas in the Houston Cougars here at Big 12 Media Days. Carlos, we briefly talked about it before we hit record, but Kennesaw State to Big 12 Media Days, big journey.
Big journey. Just a journey I had to really stay down and lock in for, man. Like I tell a lot of people, like, it was hard. Like I didn't know how it was going to turn out for me. I didn't know I was going to end up being here, but I just, stayed down during the process, man, and just kept my head level, man, and look at the position I am today. And that would be my advice to anybody out there. Like, don't go always just go chase the D1 offer, man. Go to where you're wanted. You know what I'm saying? Go to where you're wanted / needed. And then if that place turns out, if you overgrow that place, you just overgrow that place. Go. Then that's when you go seek to go get better. So,
Carlos, I typically open talking about some silly food thing or whatever. I'll put ball in the court. You want to talk barbecue, Tex-Mex, or Cajun food?
We can talk barbecue.
Are you a beef or a pork guy?
I did away with the pork probably like a year ago, so like I'm a big beef guy now.
All right, brisket, you go moist or lean? I
go moist. I like it kind of moist. I like the moist brisket more than lean.
That's the lineman answer. I appreciate the honesty there. All right, Carlos. I told you I think of defensive lineman at Houston. You played with Keith a year ago, but you go back to Ed Oliver. I mean, the D line at Houston's been a big thing, and it's kind of your turn to be the face of it, right? And that's a cool honor. But have you felt that? Has there been like a step up in responsibility?
Yeah, there has been a major step up, especially like me and Coach Fritz had a talk right after the BYU game. He was like, "Los, you gonna be here with me?" I said, "Coach, I'm gonna be here with you." And so that's when he started putting the leader role, like, like, Los, you got to become more of a leader. You got to become more vocal and things like that. So, that's just some of the things I'm trying to do more, just become more of a vocal leader because, I'm not very vocal. But I'm one of the ones players are going to feed off my energy off how I play. I'm out there making plays. Players are going to feed off that energy. And that's how I've always been. I've never been like too much of a vocal leader, but I'm always the guy that they're going to feed off my energy. If I'm out there making plays, they're going to feed off their energy and want to make plays too because they're like, damn, Los out there turning up. I want to do the same thing Los doing. So it's just, how I am with it, where I'm at now with it.
Well, and when big fellas make plays, you do a little sack dance, whatever, like that gives crowd energy. That's a whole game changer.
Because you don't expect a bigger guy to come out there and like start dancing or whenever he make a celebration. You don't expect him to like do nothing too crazy. So when a big guy does do something too crazy, it gets the crowd going though. I do love it though. So yeah.
So while we're sitting here on sack dances, without looking at the schedule too detailed, is there a sack you're really looking forward to? Someone you really want to get after this year after the way last year? Because it's your second year in the conference.
So I told I've been telling a couple guys. I told Keith Coop, the old number 5, his grave digger celebration. I told him my first tackle for loss of sack. I'm gonna pull the dance out for him. So I did tell him that though. When I just seen him. Matter of fact, he was at workouts yesterday. I told him like I'm gonna go on grave digger celebration, first sack attack for loss I get this year.
So let's talk about number 5 because gotta love a big guy in a single digit. 5 was Keith, right? There's a handful of other guys that could have gone to. What made you want to change?
So I had a talk with Coop. Coop was like my riding mate. I used to catch rides from Coop before I got my car. So me and Coop used to always talking. And I had like mentioned to him like, Coop, you don't got no more years, do you? He's like, nah. He's like, I'm like, what you think about me getting 5? He was like, shoot for it. He was like, why? I was like, because I had one of my homeboys, one of my close best friends. He passed away on me in high school. That was his first number 5. And so I was just like, I want to go out to 5. I want to wear 5 for him my last year. So that was one of the big reasons I got 5. Like Coop played a big reason, but that was another big reason why I wore number 5 this year.
So a couple important people in your life, right? Again, you lead the group. You got other veterans in there, right? You bring back Brandon, you bring back Xavier, like other big guys. Trey is a big part of it. I guess he's I think of him as a big guy. I guess he's more of an edge.
I tell Latrell McCutchin, like, man, bro, you got it. Like, I always tell him, like, you got it. You got it. Can nobody stop your get off? Like, your get off by itself can get you to the league. But once you add everything else to it, bro, you got everything, bro. Like, just go out there and go to it and just grab it.
So it's his get off. You've got some strength. What other like key character is it? Someone's hand.
You got Brandon Mack coming off the edge with some power. We got somebody new. We got a new kid. Well, like, Eddie Walls just came in. Eddie Walls been buying into the culture right away. Like, that's somebody I like stepped in right away and was ready to buy into the culture off real. But it's another guy that came in last year with me. He was a freshman. He didn't play. He got a red shirt last year. But Darius Washington, he made a lot of plays this spring, and that's a guy I'm looking in to step up and make some big plays for us this year at field end.
Gotcha. A talented group. It's a group of guys that, again, I think Houston likes having talented guys on the line. You got some talent behind linebacker too. Corey's back, right? Jesus is in.
You got Sione coming in from Utah. We got a freshman coming in.
So talking about these guys in the linebacker.
So like, we got a couple of linebackers, and I love the linebacker on them. You talking about the jail of the defense? Those are guys are the jail right there. Like, you got guys like Zeus coming in off a great season he had last year. You got Corey Platt coming back, who hasn't played in 2 years. But once I look at Corey's PFF and I see the plays he was making, I'm like, okay, I know Corey's good. You got guys like Sione coming in, playing some ball. Carmichael, you got him coming in to play some ball. But the guys that really stood out to me the most, I would say, is probably the freshman Rich, who came in number 30. He came in the January, and he was commanding right off the bat. And it's not too many guys that come in as a freshman linebacker come in trying to command the defense right away. So we got a lot of, like, not only me, but the whole defense has a lot of big expectations for Rich this year. So
So talk to us about the defensive expectations, because last year we hung our hat on the defense, and it was like, hey, if we can score 15, we're probably okay, right? A lot of changes in the back half, the secondary. Obviously, the defensive coordinator changed. What can we hang our hat on the defense this year? Because that was such a big part of last year.
I mean, you can still hang your hat on the defense being fast and physical. That's our goal at the end of the year, to play fast and physical ball, 4 quarters, 60 minutes of it. Like, that's the goal at the end of the day. You're going to see the same things this year with the new defensive coordinator and the new pieces we got. We lost a lot of key pieces this spring, but I think Coach Fritz, Coach Nagel, and Coach Armstrong, and all the position coaches did a great job in the transfer portal this year, bringing guys in who want to be a part of coaching and actually buy in.
What's the biggest difference you noticed between Wood and Armstrong?
They I don't know. They're both kind of alike to me. Like, I like they're both like I don't know. Like, I just see the like, I don't know. For me, I just see the DC in them. Like, both of those guys are great DCs. Like, just like Coach Woods last year, just seeing how he used to call certain things. I get the same kind of energy from Coach Armstrong. Even though we haven't played in the game, it's just practice. I just get that feeling from him. Like, he's like all about it, like ready to go. And we're gonna get after this. He's just got the epitome of getting after cats.
What's changing your job?
Really, not much. Really, I'm gonna be playing a lot of 0 tech this year, a lot of 3 tech this year. Certain packages I might go out and play stand up 5 tech. Really, it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna see me playing around the interior D line from the 0 to the 5 technique, both sides of the ball. I mean, both sides of the line of scrimmage. So it's gonna be fun.
I got you. So out of the 5 that's out in space for a guy. Like, hey, for the audio folks, Carlos is a big dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, when the coach came up to me with the idea, he was like, "Los, we got a package where you're gonna be stand up 5 tech. Say, you ready for him?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been waiting on that." So I'm just taking. I just can't wait till he call it. Like, I tell him every time I see him, like, because I'm just waiting for you to call the package when I go to stand up 5. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna be. He's like, your ass ain't gonna be stand up. You need to put your hand in the ground, like, coach. I'm gonna stand up regardless, right? He's like, okay. So you stand up, you better go out there and set the court. I said, for sure, coach, I got you. Like, this to go. So yeah, man, it's just fun being able to to be out there on the edge, like, ooh, like a lot of schools will probably look at me and like, why they got that guy there on the edge? But you'll see pretty soon.
Year 2 in the Big 12 for you. A big change from Kennesaw to Big 12 play. Not Kennesaw plays some talented teams, but a big difference. Do you feel more prepared? Do you feel like they need to prepare for you? Like, what's different going in year 2? Where's your confidence level on that?
I say year 2, I think my confidence is way better because, like, last year, like, I was just telling somebody, like, I really didn't gain confidence until after I played OU. Like, OU made me realize I really can play with some ball. And then when we played Utah, that was another game made me realize, like, you belong here. Like, you're playing ball with some of the best players in the nation. Like some of these guys are going to be in the draft process. Like some of these guys are going to be getting drafted. So just just filling out and just getting comfortable. My teammates starting to believe in me and starting to set me in was like a big confidence booster for me last year. Like because like I felt out of place at first, but once I teammates took me in and fall camp started going underway, I just felt like, okay, all right, I belong here. Like, I belong here. This year's the next stepping stone to you becoming the next person you're going to be.
You mentioned Keith Cooper, and obviously we miss him on the field, but we're happy he's getting a shot at the NFL. What was Keith for you you mentioned he was your ride, which is big, but what else was he for you? Because he was such a strong leader.
I just always talk to like when I used to have problems about certain plays or I felt some way about a certain play, I'm like, Cooper, how would you go about this play? Or how would you have played this play? So just getting that from somebody else that's bigger than me, play a different position than me was very key. So now I can take his knowledge that he just gave me and the knowledge that I know, and now I can just go attack the situation with both of those knowledge together, and now I can be a better outcome. So Keith Cooper played a big role last year with me getting comfortable here. Like he's one of the first guys I can say really took me under his wing when I first got here.
Well, and both came in new last year. Him from Tulane, obviously, but a similar situation. I want to ask you about next year's teammates, though, in a little bit more silly kind of way to go about it, right? Who's the best dressed on the team?
If I had to go best dressed on the team, probably going to say, give me Latrell McCutchin.
Yeah,
I gotta say Latrell McCutchin.
That's even his brother didn't say that. Okay, who's the most likely to be online playing video games at 1 a.m.?
Can I say myself? No, I'm just joking. If I had to say somebody 1 o'clock in the morning playing video games, I would say myself because of the days we don't have nothing, we got to be there later in the day. I'll probably be up like 1 playing, some video games. 1 o'clock. That's late. That is late. I would say Mr. Corey Platt.
Corey, okay, all right. Who's the most likely to? So you'll win the Big 12. Who's doing a snow angel on the confetti?
Jay Sean Ridgel.
All right. Who gets the best laugh out of Fritz?
Best laugh out of Coach Fritz. That's a tough one. I'll probably go Latrell McCutchin again. Like, man, he's just somebody that come in and put a smile on everybody's face. Like, if you ever having a bad day and Church see you having a bad, I would probably say that was Church. Like, he's the guy that's gonna come in and kick a joke or some way to make you laugh if you're having a bad day.
Let's say you're in the group chat where we're going to eat. Who picks the worst restaurant?
Worst restaurants? I don't know. We really haven't even really really had a big discussion like that. It's like everybody always come with some heat, like some good spots to eat though. When we do talk about it, so like I don't really think D-Line would have bad taste in food though. So that's what I would say. I don't really have an answer for that one.
All right, that's too many good places to eat in Houston, right? Last question. You're all gonna long careers in football. We're hoping for long careers in football. Even the long career in football is over by 40. Who's gonna be the most successful after sports, outside of sports?
Oh, Ganji.
Yeah. Why?
Just because of the mindset and having the different conversations and what Ganji knows, I think it would be Ganji.
All right, you heard it there. Ganji's gonna be the guy to keep your money on there. Carlos, thank you for stopping by Big 12 Media Day. Long way from Kennesaw State, but I'm glad you're here, buddy.
You are Locked On Cougs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.